Hi, everybody. This is AOPEN's webinar for May 9th, 2017, Simple Management of Chrome OS Devices. My name is Miles Schofield. I'm the Senior Sales Engineer and Technical Solutions Engineer at AOPEN America. What we're talking about today is how to get involved, how to use, how to manage Chrome OS devices. It's different than any other environment you've used before, and we're here today to get you all the information you need to get exposure to the systems, know what you need to do, what to buy, where to get everything, the whole lineup. So the three major pieces we're covering today: Chrome OS. If you don't know much about it, I'm going to go over the background, where it came from, where it's going, all that stuff. Second piece is Chrome OS Clouds Management System. This is a system that Google developed to manage tens of thousands of endpoints at the same time, and of course AOPEN Devices and how they fit into the whole equation. You know, like I said, this webinar is really designed to help almost everyone: distributors, solution providers, software vendors, anyone, across the entire range of people who deal with signage, point of sale, omni-channel, kiosk, everything, because Chrome OS can really be positioned to be used in all these things. So as usual, the portion of this webinar will be about 30 minutes long. If you have any questions during the webinar, feel free to put them in the box in the right-hand side, and we'll try and answer them as we go along. At the end of the 30 minutes, I'll go through and look at the questions, and if there's any that I find are really, really important that I feel need to be reiterated in this webinar, then we'll do that then. So let's get started. First off, Chrome OS. Where did it come from? We got to talk about all that. So Google's mantra, just to start it off from the very base, lots of people think it's don't be evil, but it's actually the 4 S's: speed, security, simplicity, and shareability. Chrome met all these goals to deliver an ultra lightweight mobile computing platform. The idea was an entirely encrypted system where most of the data wasn't stored locally. These devices could deliver a base computing experience to users who mostly use their computers for the email, media consumption, web browsing, all that stuff. This went hand in hand with the development of G Suites, Google's cloud-based package of word processor, spreadsheet, and PowerPoint, or as they call it, slides, right? So you may be thinking that sounds like a great platform for a cell phone, and the short answer is that it turns out that cell phones need what you call a fatter or OS, or the ability to execute standard Linux desktop applications. Chrome OS has always been strictly committed to being very cloud-based, and Google didn't want to include anything that was unnecessary. So while both Android and Chrome OS are based off of Linux, Android was the one that focused on the cell phones and all those use cases, where Chrome OS focused on this very specific type of ultra-light cloud-based OS. So let's highlight some of what makes resulted from those goals. Since it's so light, there are actually 2 instances of the OS on every system. This means that there's a single OS redundancy built in right out of the box. In addition to that, the fact that the OS is so small means that the system boots in under 7 seconds. For the security features, like I mentioned, all the data is encrypted on a Chrome OS device. This means if you just pull out the hard drive and try and read it, it's pretty useless. The other primary security feature of Chrome OS is called sandboxing. Sandboxing is where every program cannot explicitly access the data of another thread on your system. An easy way to think of this is that, if you're browsing 2 different websites, and say one's your bank account and one's just CNN or something, all that information that you're viewing is technically stored on your local computer because your computer has to display it. So what sandboxing means is that one website cannot read the part of your hard drive where any of that other information is stored. And this is a huge security feature in terms of the web content and the web apps that you run on your computer. Google has also committed to releasing Chrome OS updates every 2 months to make sure it is not only the most up-to-date but most secure operating system out there. The last thing I want to mention about Chrome OS is that Google actually qualifies every Chrome OS device and tailors the software to it to make sure that, as well as that it runs well, of course, and provides the best and most streamlined user experience out there. Chrome OS has been around since 2010. So what has Google been doing with it since then? Lots of people, if you haven't bought a Chromebook or any of these things, you're probably not familiar with what's actually been happening. And as you're probably aware, Apple and Dell are still crushing it in the consumer desktop market. So where Google has really excelled is in the education market. In fact, in the year 2016 was the first time that Chrome device sales in education passed Apple. This is due in part to the low price point of Chromebooks, but also majorly due to our second topic, which is Google's cloud management system, which is called CDM. The main purpose of CDM is to optimize the control of many of, there's a ton of endpoints. You can set up configurations such as what apps to install, what websites are restricted, security settings, network settings, user settings, pretty much everything about the device, all from the cloud. CDM also allows you to monitor device status, restart, take a screenshot. All of these features combine to make IT jobs much easier. So much, in fact, that Google reports a saving of over 70% in TCO for all of Chrome OS devices over similar types of devices in that space. The success in the education market led Google to explore other options, the most natural being kiosk, digital signage, ATM, POS, all these things. All these products have companies and integrators that need to manage large fleets of devices. So it's almost exactly the same type of use case. This is where the point where Google came to AOPEN to partner because they wanted to enter these markets. AOPEN helped Google define one of the most important CDM features for the digital signage or kiosk market, which is called Kiosk Mode. And now Kiosk Mode is not just for kiosks, it's for all the markets, and it's just a term for when you configure an Chrome OS device through CDM to only run one application every single time the device starts up. There's no login, no user session, no nothing. The app will just start no matter what, no interruptions every time. This is in stark contrast to a Windows environment where images must be strictly configured before a device can be used in something like signage. Google has made it an integrated part of CDM and Chrome OS devices so that it just works seamlessly without any third party. You don't need to buy any non-Google product to get this thing to work. The whole idea is that Google takes care of everything on the device side so that other companies can focus on great solutions like wayfinding and pause, web pause, the everything. So how CDM works is that it's based off of a verified Google domain. What this means is that to get set up initially, you need to buy a domain. You can either use your primary web domain, or a lot of companies set up a site like AOPENchrome.com to use as their CDM domain. Once you have your domain, you need to go into your domain configuration, look for the text records, and upload a host record that Google can see and check. They do this specifically so that they can see you're a legitimate business owner, and they're devoting cloud resources to a real company to set up your admin panel. So once you do this, then you gain access to the Google admin panel. This panel is designed for a whole range of Google products, though. So it includes not only CDM for laptops and signage, but also G Suite management as well. The admin panel automatically signs you up for a free G Suite trial as well. But if you're going to use the domain for CDM, you just let that expire. It'll bug you, but there's no requirement there whatsoever. After that, you just need to buy CDM licenses from a verified CDM reseller like AOPEN. Then you're good to go. There's two different types of licenses. The first is called Perpetual, which was designed for just to support the device for the life of it. It's $150 per device, and you just buy it once with the device. The other was developed with AOPEN, and this was really a license that the market demanded, and it was just a yearly sort of more SaaS fee type model, and this was $24 per year per device. And this is more of when you're thinking about SaaS and application base, when you're charging your customers monthly, and you may switch out devices as they improve and things like that. Once the licenses are attached to your domain, you need to enroll the device to the domain. What the enrollment means is that you take the device out of the box, specifically a device that has no user accounts already on it, because as soon as you log into a Chrome device, it basically assigns it to that user account. So you got to make sure that you don't log in a Chrome device first. And then in the initial user login screen, you're going to press Control-Alt-E, and that brings up a special enterprise enrollment. And what that is it allows you to enter the enterprise enrollment credentials for your CDM domain. After you do that, the device will appear under your device tree inside of CDM. One other thing to note is that if you accidentally or have a device that you want to enroll and it already has a base Google account on it, you have to go through the entire power washing procedure in order to get back to that enterprise enrollment. It's not too bad. Power washing is a very standard operation for Chrome OS devices. It takes about 7 to 10 minutes and returns the device to the original software state. Once you enter your enterprise enrollment credentials, the whole idea of CDM is that your device goes into what's called an organizational unit, or an OU. And that OU contains all the settings. So you enter the enterprise enrollment password, the machine starts up, downloads all the settings, the applications, and all that stuff, and then is instantly ready to turn on and be used for whatever you want it to. So this ability to unbox a device, enroll it, and send it to an end customer site and have it ready to go is called Google White Glove Service. This whole thing was designed to reduce installation time and the worker time on site, which is a huge part of installation costs and maintenance costs, because if you have a guy show up to diagnose and reinstall, then all that plays a part in the TCO of the devices and the solution itself. So in terms of what AOPEN offers specifically, we specifically offer a number of CDM services to our customers. We offer training sessions. We can help you get up and rolling with all the different configurations, initial setup, or just full management. If you just want to offer your solution using CDM, we're happy to monitor those devices and manage those devices for you. So please contact us for any additional information on those services if you're interested. We also have special sample SKU setup that you can order from us. Just to get people experience with the Chrome OS environment, we wanted to create a sample device that we can send people so that they can, see how everything works as one piece. When you buy this kit, it allows you to test out a device enrolled in CDM. We just put it on a test domain that we have set up, and you can log in, you can see the device, you can change the settings in addition to configuring it to other applications as you want, if you want, all that stuff. Right out of the box, it will just play an AOPEN demo reel, but you can assign it to whatever you want. This SKU has an MSRP of $225. And if you're interested in this particular solution as well, you can have us pre-configure that specific application that you want as well. So the other thing I wanted to cover in this webinar, I don't want to get it too technical, but if you're going to try and tackle all this stuff by yourself, I just wanted to go over the 3 main things that you got to know when you're working with CDM. So. And of course, if you want a little bit more information on CDM, I did a full 20-minute webinar on our YouTube channel on AOA marketing. So let's just go through them. The first setting, which is absolutely crucial to most kiosk application, is under device management in your OU configuration, and it's under user data. The default is to erase all user data, so you need to switch it to do not erase all local user data. Most solutions require the device to identify itself to a cloud server, like a CMS, so you know which menu board goes with what content. So if you don't set this, every time you restart the device, it'll ask you to re-register with whatever CMS you're doing. And obviously, we don't want that. So that's something that you always got to check, and you always got to make sure it's set correctly and can trip people up sometimes. Second setting is, of course, your kiosk application. This one's not too bad. All you do is go into your device management, your OU configuration. Again, it's in the same list as the user data. And you just go to Manage Kiosk Applications, and you have to put in the Chrome Play Store ID in addition to the web link. And as long as it's a public application, it will just come up and you hit add. And once you add, you just set run kiosk, specific kiosk menu, excuse me, kiosk application from a drop-down menu. It'll list all the ones that you have installed. The third setting that you should know about that's very important is the network configuration. So this is under network settings, which also has its own network settings per OU. So it's a different area. You know, most of the time when you're sending your devices out to customers, you're gonna just manually put in the SSIDs onto the device before you send them out. But, you know, say you have 1,000 devices at a customer and the customer changes their SSID or their password. If you get in a situation like that, you just go in there and you update or add another SSID and network configuration so that when they switch it over, the devices can find the new network and join it successfully. So now that we have the OS and the software solution and the cloud management solution, last thing we need to talk about, of course, is AOPEN Chrome OS devices. This is the other main reason Google came to us as a partner when moving into these markets. AOPEN and Google, they designed the only commercial grade Chrome OS devices on the market. Digital signage, kiosks, POS, the rest, all these solutions are commercial and require commercial grade devices. Just to, we say it in every presentation, but for those who don't know, commercial, consumer, and now prosumer grades are not just hand-waving descriptions that define they actually define the operational terms for the devices. Commercial is 24/7, consumer is 8/7, and prosumer is 16/7. So if you're looking at failure rates of devices, they only apply to when the device is being used under the defined condition. If you think about it, every device can claim a 0% failure rate if it just stays under your couch, right? And you never use it. So the bottom line is that when it comes to commercial grade, it saves money. If you've never managed a technical project before, I usually just use, to a lot of our end customers, I usually just use some sort of home project metaphor, such as, if you have a TV in your house, you probably use it 2 hours a day, and if it breaks, you replace it. I mean, no big deal, right? But, if something a little bit harder, breaks, like your stove, do you really want to get behind there and, disconnect the gas? And stoves are usually a lot heavier than most people, you got to hire a contractor, and those people always cost money. The same thing goes for your workplace. If you use WebPOS or POS or checkout systems or signage, if the center screen of your video wall dies at your restaurant or your clothes store, I mean, you're not going to get up there and fix it. You need a professional, right? You either have to have a specialized staff or you got to hire a contractor. And this is where the savings happen when you work with commercial devices that are designed to run as long and as stable as possible. Hardware costs are so small these days in a lot of cases that a single incurred failure by a lower quality device can more than make up for any additional costs associated with getting commercial grade hardware. And it's these sort of costs that AOPEN is designed to combat with its sub 2% failure rate. So let's get into the devices. First and foremost, AOPEN's Chrome device line is built with the same reliable and rugged features as our other products. Solid state, fanless, wide temperature range, shock resistant, dual band Wi-Fi, auto power on recovery, all those features that you can find on our solid state Windows boxes as well. To get us started, a year and a half ago, when Google first came to us, and the first two devices designed are called our AOPEN Chrome Box and our AOPEN Chromebase. The spec sheets are all available online, so I really want to talk about just generally where you're going to be using the devices, when to buy them, and for what, right? So for the AOPEN Commercial Chrome Box, what you may not know, aside from the general specs of it, is that it actually has two HDMI outputs on the back and can support two full HD screens. You can also use this feature to set up player redundant signage, or just use it for a dual menu board. It has a standard RJ50 type RS-232 serial port, which some of our software partners have been using for pause peripherals like scan and print. It's a really great box for mid-range application and currently retails for $299. The commercial Chromebase is our 22-inch a Chrome OS all-in-one device. It features a full HD multi-touch screen, and since it contains the same hardware inside as the commercial Chrome box, it actually has an HDMI output on the back to drive another screen on the wall. This has been used where you want an interactive device to control or influence other signage you have. You know, when you're either shopping and you want your signage to update in response to what the customer is looking at and things like that. We chose 22-inch because we found that 22-inch all-in-one device was the ideal size for in-store ordering and shopping applications. The 22-inch is important because any bigger, and you'd have people looking around the interface. You really don't want, a 62-inch touch, where people are ordering. They don't want the entire restaurant to know what they're, that they're supersizing their fries. We have clients that we've done self-ordering systems with, and they've noticed a 23% increase in sales after using a self-ordering system on AOPEN 22-inch Chrome devices. These checkout solutions on the Chrome base, the 22-inch Chromebase, are once again supported by the fact that the 22-inch commercial Chromebase has 4 RJ50 type RS-232 ports on the back, so people can get receipts from attached printers, and you can attach EMV terminals for payment and all this stuff to the back. The device has a HD camera and a microphone on the front, and is also Hangout certified by Google. It has a port cover on the back, which you can see in this image, and cable tie downs. These are really important features for kiosks because you don't have to build any enclosure. This device is really, if you put the port cover on and you put all the cord tie downs, not only are you never going to be able to rip the cords out, but you don't have to put in any sort of enclosure. You can just put on a nice simple stand right on the open. People can't hit the power button. The power button is actually only accessible by a paper clip or a very thin piece of metal, and so they're perfectly fine being out in the open in a public environment without an additional kiosk enclosure. So currently the 22-inch Chrome base has a retail of $699. So after AOPEN released the 2 initial mid-range devices about a year and a half ago, we wanted to talk about tackle the lower cost, lower power market as well. This led us to develop 2 new devices, the Chrome Box Mini and the Chrome Base Mini, that we released in January 2017 at NRF. Once again, these devices have all the great AOPEN rugged, reliable features and are completely solid state. Let's start it off with the Chrome Box Mini. For these devices, we went with an ARM Rock chip with 4 gigabytes of RAM this time instead of an Intel chip. This allows the box to push a single HD screen out of a single HDMI output. The Mini is designed to be the industry standard single screen commercial player. It currently retails for $189, and as I mentioned before, the only commercial Chromebox on the market, so there's nothing to compare it to. The Chromebox Mini, the whole point of the Chromebox Mini is to really bring that commercial quality to that single screen market. So as for the 10.1-inch screen Chromebase Mini all-in-one device, it's about giving a commercial option to all those popular tablets that people are using in applications right now. So most commonly, they're going to be those web pauses and the legacy pause with the customer-facing screens, bump screens, the loyalty screens that you put your phone number in. All of those are currently using some sort of non-commercial tablet. We even have an exciting partner that's starting to use these Chrome-based minis in meeting room management. But in general, the tablets that are out there right now just aren't designed for these applications. Not only are they not commercial grade, but that they don't have VESA mounts on the back. That's why you see all those crazy, huge plastic clip things that go around, when they turn around the web pause so that you can check out. It's because, they're designed really for people to use on their couch, not to be used as a checkout system, right? And so the Chromebase Mini was specifically designed with a VESA mount on the back to fill that void, and so that you can use regular mounts with it. So just like the Chromebase and the Chrome Box, the Chromebase Mini and the Chrome Box Mini have the exact same components inside. So the Chromebase Mini also, what that means is that in addition to being able to push its regular screen, it has an HDMI out on it as well. This means that it can push an external HD screen from your Chromebase Mini. And the Chromebase Mini and the Chromebase 22-inch also have the same great IP54 front, 7 mm hardness screen with the 10-point touch. And lastly, the Chromebase Mini comes in at $349 MSRP, which really puts it below a lot of the non-commercial options and well below a lot of the other commercial tablet options in this space. So it's a really great choice for these types of applications. That brings us to the end of the 30-minute section of this webinar. So let's just recap what we've covered so far. Chrome OS, a very specific use case OS designed to be low cost, light, easy to use. Very quick, of course. The second part was we had a whole section on CDM, why it saves you a lot of money as an integrator, why it saves company end users a lot of money, how you get started, what you need to look out for, all that sort of stuff. And the last part, of course, we went over AOPEN's Chrome OS devices, what we have to offer, how they work, the special features, what they're used for, and all that stuff. So that's what I have for you today. So as I mentioned before, let's get to the big questions that I feel were asked during the webinar by our viewers. The first that I'm looking at is what exactly is included in white glove service. So white glove, as I mentioned earlier, is a name that Google gave to the process of taking a device out of the box, being able to just enter that one enterprise login, and then sending it off to your customer, and the installers just put it up. So everything's prepped to go. So what actually is involved in that is obviously taking it out of the box, and you start the device up, and you enter the local network information in addition to the end user network information, and you also then start up the device in guest mode so that you can update the OS, because a lot of times you'll be using applications which require the most recent Chrome OS version. Once the Chrome OS update triggers, then you return to the login, you do that enterprise login that I talked about, and then you wait for the Chrome device to download the proper application and settings, and once it shows you that it did that, you're good to go. Number 2, when can I run Android applications on Chrome OS? We get this all the time because Google actually said that this was going to be possible at the end of last year, 2016. So, we're still waiting like everyone. They don't really want to be tacked onto a date, and but it is completely their intention. It's not something that they're going to drop. And so if you currently are working with in an Android environment, don't feel super pressured to develop a separate Chrome OS app. And once again, they said by the end of the year. The other thing is that you've probably heard that this is already possible on a number of devices. And yes, as I mentioned, Chrome OS is technically different between every single device. It's tailored, and Google actually pushed out this feature in regular user mode for a few of their Chromebooks, but they just haven't moved on to the Chrome boxes yet, specifically those made by other vendors. Can I use my own touchscreen? Yes, you can. Most important thing to consider when you're working with other manufacturers' touchscreens. They usually have a USB interface that you can plug into the Chrome box. Just make sure you contact the manufacturer and make sure that they have true Chrome OS support. A lot of monitors have touchscreens which have simulated touch interfaces, but you really want the ones that don't have the emulated ones. This gives you the best chance of creating a solution that's going to be long-lasting with the least amount of bugs. What happens when the internet goes out? Number 4. So Chrome OS is, of course, designed to be this always-on system, but digital signage, needs to run regardless of how poor your internet quality is. And the solution's reliability really comes down to how it was written. A lot of the really great CMSs, they cache not only the previous content, but the currently running content and the upcoming content. In anticipation of playing or time changing, they also cache content on demand as well. And so really good CMSs will make sure that all the content on the devices is there at the right time. So As long as it has some internet at some time, you should be good to go. Just make sure that when you're talking to different software providers, and this is a concern for the solution that you're putting in or for the end customer, you make sure that that's in there and that you test it out. And that's about it for our questions. So thank you so much for joining us today. Once again, my name is Miles Schofield. We'll be back next month with another AOPEN webinar, and we'll send that right out to you. If you had any questions, we mentioned a few things in this webinar that you can may be interested in. The first is all our CDM services in terms of getting set up and training and management. We can also do white glove training, all these things. So if you're interested in those, if you're interested in that sample pack I mentioned, please let me know. So that you can get a device in your hands. You don't have to worry about anything. You just get a device. You can see how CDM works and test everything out yourself to really get some experience with the system. And of course, the devices themselves. Let us know. They're available from us and our distributors. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I will turn it over to Michael Wen, our salesperson, and he will tell you about some special deals that we have going on during this year for our devices. Thanks so much.